Well folks, a very good morning to you all. I would say from the flight deck, but I'm not working for the next 3 weeks. So I've got some time off from work. So back in my home island of Jersey, came back yesterday. Weather is glorious this week. It's the first week of September. So when I got back yesterday, jumped on the internet and I've booked a ticket to go from Jersey on the ferry down to France, about an hour and a half on the ferry to a place called St Malo, and then just going to free range France for the day. So I'm going to have about 6 hours or so in France, and the intention is to take the Triumph Speed Twin away for those 6 hours. And if you've been following me on my channel, you know I've had it for about just over a month now. I swapped this for my KTM 890R, basically the 890R, cracking bike, but I think sooner or later it was going to get me into a little bit of bother. So I've had the bike now for a month. I got it and it done about 4,900 miles. We're up to about 5.2, so 300 miles is what I've done. It's I am running a little bit late for the ferry actually, so 300 miles is what it's done. It's a 2020 model, and yeah, it's pretty much it's immaculate basically. So a couple of things that I've done to it, the main things really, I've just put some new tyres on it. So I've got rid of the Diablo Rosso 3s or whatever they're called, and about 60 miles ago, 10 days ago or so, I put on a set of Metzeler M9 RRs. So they've done about 60 miles, so they're not fully scrubbed in yet. You can see the chicken strips on the back there and the front. So what we're looking at doing is just putting a few more miles on the bike and then just getting those tyres nice and scrubbed in. I'll give you sort of my initial thoughts of those towards the end of the day. And the other thing I've done the last few days is just swapped out the old brake pads, the OEM brake pads, and I've got a set of EBC HH Sintered pads in there. So I've gone through the bedding and procedure as per Dave Moss, so just go and check that out on the other video that I've done on that, and where we're just going to see how the brakes are. It seems you've got rid of that horrible squealing sound that you can get. Let's go through the lights. It seems you've got rid of that horrible squealing sound that you get, or some people get, and put it down to warp discs. And I did get a little bit of pulsating through the front brake, but that all seems to have gone now. But prior to me putting the EBC pads, I had sort of cleaned all the rotors and everything. So I think people, you just got to go and clean your rotors if you've got a Triumph. So rather than put it down to a warp disc, which I think maybe they did have some warp discs, just go and clean your rotors. I think the rotors are susceptible to a little bit of pad build up, causing high spots and causing that sort of pulsating feeling. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Try the new tyres, try the brakes, and see how the bike goes when we're off an island which has got a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. So that's the plan of action for today. I've got my rucksack, I've got my passport, I've got no GPS on here, I've got my phone, I've got a map. What else is there? I've got all the bits you need. It's only 6 hours, but if I get a puncture or something, so I've got a puncture repair kit, stop and go kit, I've got the compressor to plug into the my Optimate charger if I get a puncture, a few tools, bottle of water, credit cards, passport, ticket. So without further ado, let's go and check in, and the next stop is going to be France. And an hour and 20 minutes later, we are in the port of St Malo en France. Mange tout, Rodney. All we've got to do now is just clear immigration, customs, and then we will be on our way. Woohoo! So let's go and stretch the legs of this Triumph Speed Twin 1200. Oh, 27 degrees today. Beautiful. This guy's first time away on the bike, and he's going to do some of the trans-Europe tracks, the TET. So I don't know how long he's going away for, but yeah, good luck. Cost me 59 quid. Return, 6 hours in France, stretch the legs of the Triumph Speed Twin. Should have a bit of fun. So that is passport control done. As I thought, they get a little bit funny if you've got your video recorders on, which is fair enough. So he did sort of say, have you got it switched on? And I went no, because I'd switched it off. So the aim of this trip today, well, it's basically just to get the bike away, stretch its legs. I've had it now for a month. I've put about 300 miles on it, done a few things to it, and we can talk about those as I'm making my way out of Saint-Malo, toute direction. I've got my little idiot's guide down here, so I've got a map in my rucksack. I've got a GPS on my phone, but I've got nothing attached to the bike. I've got no mounts there. So a little bit au naturel, doing it raw, shall we say, with a phone backup. But I've got my little notes down here. So it's going to be 100 miles or thereabouts today. So I've got to get the ferry later on. So with a few stops, it's a little bit of a stop for lunch and stuff, or something to eat, a bit of a toilet break. So that's going to be the plan today, 100 miles in glorious sunshine. So the EBC pads have been bedded in. Hopefully they're going to be really good. We get rid of that squealing noise and the pulsating through the front brake lever. And then just sort of starting from the front of the bike, coming back, bits that I've done, well, not too much really. I've put some new Arton Works clock dials in here. I think they look really good, really classic. I think they go very well with the bike. They are a little bit hard to see if you put the indicator on. Oh no, that's not too bad actually. When there's a little bit of shade on there, you can see all the backlit stuff, but if it's full sunlight, you can't really see what's going on, if I'm being brutally honest. But I think they're a really nice looking set of clocks now, really good. And what else have we got on there? I've put the Optimate charger on there just to get the battery topped up. And what else? Oh, the TEC clutch and brake levers, real good value for money, about 60 quid. Again, I'll put a link in the description down below, so go and check it out. And that really is pretty much all I've done, I think. There's nothing too much. I'm 5'9", 32-inch leg, and all that kind of stuff. 87 kilos, I guess. And the bike itself has got a set of Vance & Hines pipes on it, so I've got a DJI wireless mic set up, so one in the helmet, and then I just pop one in my rear mat pocket of my Oxford Mondial jacket. Awesome, done up. So hopefully we should get some nice sounds out of the microphone. Other than that, there's not a massive amount to say, folks. So I think what we're going to do is get out of here and head on to a place on the coast called Cap Friel. So let's get out Saint-Malo and stretch the legs of this lovely 2020 Triumph Speed Twin. The only difference between the 2020, which this one is, and the new ones is the front suspension forks. I think they're Marzocchi. These have got those rubber gaiters on them. So slightly uprated brakes. I think the engine's been tweaked a little bit, and everything else is pretty much the same. I don't think you get Vance & Hines pipes on the back of the new bikes anymore. This bike has been hilltop, so I'm currently in road mode at the moment, and the fueling on this seems to be sweet as, and it pops and burbles, and it's very nice. So I think that's pretty much where we're at. Full tank of fuel, 100 miles or so to do, scrub the tyres and see how the brakes are getting on, and let's get out of Saint-Malo. Talk about the bike then. So I've had it for just over a month, put 300 miles on it, and the 1200, it is a Triumph Bonneville high power engine. It is 96 horsepower and 83 foot-pounds of torque, and I think it is 100 and something newton meters. I'll put it up on the screen, but it's just a great engine, and that's what I like about the engine. It's just got so much grunt to it, so it's not all about high horsepower numbers. I mean, that's one of the reasons I got rid of the KTM 890R, super bike, but it was going to get me into trouble. So I've gone to something like this, the classic look, and it really, I mean, there's no bad bikes now anymore. Any bike, what a great view. Any bike that makes you smile, it's the right bike for you. This makes me smile, so it's the right bike for me. The engine does tend to get a little bit warm, the fan comes on quite a lot, shall we say. Oh, it's just nice to get out above 40 miles an hour. And for me, it's just a great bike. I really, really like it. I would have liked maybe the BMW R9T. Great weather, 28 degrees today is the forecast. Very nice. Yeah, I would have liked the BMW R9T, but I've got the GS, so maybe another Boxer engine would be a bit too samey. It makes me smile. And if a bike can do that, then it's the right bike for you. But the KTM, cracking machine, but I think, yeah, I was going to get into trouble on that. Definitely going to get into trouble on that. Now, this is in road mode at the moment. You've got road mode, sport and rain. I'll switch it into sport mode very shortly once we're out of the town, out of the Somalo. But yeah, I just like the bike. So what else is there to say about it? We'll speak about it at the end of the day. I'll come up with a little bit, some conclusions after my one day away on it. Yeah, don't criticise me too much, folks. I do live on an island with a 40 mile an hour limit, so it's lovely to get away. 5'9", 32-inch leg, and the bike is very comfortable for me. And we'll speak about the comfort later on once we put some miles on it. So about 100 miles to do today in glorious sunshine. Yeah. So I think what we'll do is go and find some twisty roads, cue the music, and let's go and have some fun on the Speed Twin. Woohoo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cap Freehell, my first stop. I've been here before. Basically you can walk out to the lighthouse out there, so I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to carry on. So we're going to go and continue the ride. Well, that was Cap Freehell then, so just going to nip down to a little place called Dinan, about 30 miles away. So far then in relation to the bike, I mean weather-wise it's about 28 degrees centigrade today, a glorious day for riding a bike, but if I'm being honest I should have put my summer jacket on, but I didn't. So anyway, so if you're looking at getting one of these Speed Twins, I've had mine for now a month, done 300 odd miles on it. So it's really the first long ride it's been on with me on it. So what can I say at the moment? So I've been on the bike for just over an hour, and oh, out in the distance there, you're not going to be able to see it, but if I turn my head out there, that's a wind farm out there. So I've been on the bike now just over an hour. So yeah, my derriere's just starting to hurt a little bit. Obviously the seat looks really nice, but I think for long distances you might have to wear some cycling shorts or something. But yeah, so bottom just feeling it a little bit. My legs are really comfortable. I've got the 32-inch seam and the angle of the legs is fine. Yeah, it's not an issue. No aches and pains in the shoulders. It's a really nice riding position. It's just my bottom is feeling it a little bit. And I will say that the heat that's been generated from the engine, I'm not sure if the fan's on all the time, but yeah, make any comments in the comment section down below, because that engine doesn't half bang out some heat. Even when you're going at speed, it's chucking out some heat. So that's one of the main things I've really noticed, is the amount of heat coming from the engine. Comfort wise it's okay, yeah, really absolutely fine, no problems whatsoever, but my bum is just hurting a little bit. Oh, these roads are just glorious, and hopefully you can hear the sound from that second microphone of the Vance & Hines pipes. Yeah, there you can see in the distance, that's the That's the wind farm that they've just fitted on the north coast there, and then Jersey is just behind there. I don't know if you can actually see the island. I think you can actually see the island actually, but yeah, this is Cap Freehell. Very nice, very picturesque. Just remember to drive on the right. Yeah, so bike's really comfortable. The brakes, I've got to say, they've not squealed once, and I thought maybe once they've got warm we would sort of go into the pulsating thing again, but folks, I think those EBC HH Sintered pads have done the job. Early days yet, but initial prognosis is really good. No squeaking from them whatsoever, and no pulsating from the front brake lever, so that's done the job. Really happy with that. Those tyres, the M9 RRs, yeah, what can I say, yeah, very good. I've already sort of scraped my foot down once already, not even trying going around a roundabout. So yeah, really happy with those M9 RRs. And I will say, in relation to the suspension of the bike, I think it's just a little bit, yeah, you can tell it's not quite, doesn't quite match the rest of the bike, in that maybe they run out of money. That's the sort of impression I get. It would have been nice to have some Öhlins. Look at that, what a tremendous view. And yeah, that's definitely, I think you can see Jersey the other side of it. But yeah, what a view, folks, really nice. I hope this Insta360 is doing okay. It's the first time I've used it, so hopefully when I edit it, it will look half decent. But yeah, really nice, really nice. So the tyres, more than happy with the tyres. Hopefully we would have got rid of those chicken strips. Done about 45 miles so far, and the range to empty is saying 85, so it's at 130. Yeah, so I suppose the tank's good for 150 miles. And riding fast, yeah, I've got a HJC helmet on, and do you know what, even going fast over 90, yeah, it was alright. Very little, but a little bit of buffet, but it was fine, you know. But that engine just pulls like a train in sport mode now. Really nice. Vibration wise, yeah, you can feel a little bit through the handlebars and the bum, but yeah, you sort of feel like it's just a good raw data bike with sort of, I know it's got electronics on it, but it just feels like it hasn't, and it's just a raw bike, and you've got to do with it what it needs to be done to sort of ride the thing. But yeah, I really like it. Anyway, let's go to Dinan. Ça va. Again, really nice views, just great. So I'll talk about the gearbox then. So the gearbox of the Triumph is absolutely no problem at all, positive. Hasn't jumped out of gear at all, so yeah, it does what it's supposed to do. Very nice. Well, not very nice, but it's a nice gearbox. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Point out though is the suspension, front suspension, yeah, you can tell it's I don't know why Triumph sort of saved some money there. Really, they should have put just Öhlins on it and be done with it. But yeah, just feel it all just twitching a little bit, certainly on the back as well when you're on it. Just feel the whole bike just doing a little bit of this kind of thing. But other than that, I think that really is the only downside of the bike, just that suspension. When you're on it, when you really are gunning it, you just use it all up basically. So I might look at doing the suspension, I don't know. Certainly don't want to fall down there. Anyway, maybe it is time for lunch for about the third time. no mini screen on here at all on the headlight. Yeah, and it's fine, you know, it's sat there 70 miles an hour, as they say in France, pas de problem. And that engine just really nice. Clutch is nice as well. 70 miles an hour is just over 3,500 revs. And what I really do like is these new dials, so much better than the fussy but still very nice OEM dials, but these are so much more, in my humble opinion, in keeping with the classic lines of the Triumph Speed Twin. Really like those. It's a purchase I'm glad I made. It's about 70 quid I think it was, but everything's in the description down below. We just go and check on the I'll do a library. I'll just click on up here somewhere with all the stuff on the Triumph. But yeah, really nice. So there's nothing more really to say, is there, folks? I'm going to go and have some lunch down in Dinan. So we're just coming into the pretty French town of Dinan, and that leads me quite nicely on to talking about pretty, the actual bike itself. I think the bike is a handsome, pretty bike I really like. I just think it looks really nice, and it's amazing even just today how many people, when I've been going through the villages, have actually just looked at the bike. Maybe it was the noise, or the slightly raised noise from the Fancy Nines pipes, I don't know, but yeah, they certainly stare at the bike, and I like it. It just makes me smile. I think and I think this is the best colour scheme as well, the silver and black one. Really like it. Yeah, it's a good machine. And here we are then in the port of Dinan, where we're going to have some lunch. Beautiful. A little bit on the hot side though, but Dinan is very picturesque down here. Been down here many times before, and if you're down this area, folks, it's certainly worth a visit. Just listen to those pipes. Not too offensive. Yep, I'm just going to whack it under here. There we go, look at that. Talking about the bike. Just going to park it here. So one other thing I thought about was the turning circle on this. The steering lock's not particularly brilliant, but it's okay. But yeah, if you're in the market for one of these, try it, push it around, try the steering lock. So here we are then, folks, at the side of the river. We're down in Dinan, beautiful scenery down here. However, when we got down here, they were shut for lunch. They weren't taking any more orders. The kitchens were closed, which is, I think it's down to COVID, not enough staff, so they shut earlier on a Monday, unbeknown to me. So anyway, I've had a couple of Cokes and some Pringles, living the high life. So just quickly talk about the bike then. So really happy with it. So it's the first time I've taken it away and stretched its legs, so it goes really well. That engine's just so good, so much oomph to it from that big twin cylinder, that Bonneville 1200 high power engine. So a couple of things I've learnt today then. One, the engine kicks out a tremendous amount of heat. So it's 28 degrees or thereabouts today, but yeah, that engine does kick out a lot of heat. And the other thing was the seat. So I'm only 85 kilos, and after about an hour and 15 minutes of riding, yeah, I just felt my bum was getting a bit sore. But I could stand up on the pegs a little bit just to try and ease the numbness. But I don't think this has helped carrying my rucksack, which I've got all the stuff in case I break down. I've got tyre repair kit and a compressor to go with it, some tools, a yellow vest in case I break down. I think that's law over here in France, and some documentation and a night stop kit as well. So yeah, that's what's in that rucksack. So it is a little bit on the heavy side. So they would be the two things that I've taken away from today, but the bike has been brilliant. Really impressed with the Metzeler M9RR tyres, and people are looking at me thinking I'm barking mad. So really good, happy with those. Although I've not gone onto the edge yet, but maybe on the way back to the ferry port in an hour or so. And the brakes, yeah, those EBC brakes, really, really good. Happy with those. Yeah, so no pulsating of the front brake, and no screeching noise. So more than happy with that. So that's done its job properly. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, negatives, I've already spoken about those. Steering lock's not particularly brilliant. It's all right, moving in and out of the garage. I don't know if I mentioned that on a previous video. Go and check out the playlists up here somewhere. What else is there? Yeah,
if you get one of these, I don't know about the 2023 models, before you start the engine but the ignition on, when you move the throttle, and even before you move the throttle, you're going to get a whining noise from down here, and that's to do with the electronic fuel injection. So before you start the bike, turn the ignition on, you get the whining noise, and then even when you move the throttle, you goes ee or something like that. So if your bike does that, it is perfectly normal, so don't worry about it. Range till you got to push it, yeah, I reckon 150 miles, yeah, something like that, so 50 miles to the gallon. Yeah, 5'9", 32-inch leg, all nice and comfortable. No aches and pains in the wrist, so it's all good, and it's just the numb bum. But I think, yeah, combination of that thin seat and also the fact that I've got that rucksack on as well, and there's nowhere to tie anything down to the back of the bike. So we're going to jump on the bike and head back to St Malo, which is that's south, so we're going that way. So we've got about 40 minutes to get back to the ferry port. See you soon, bye.
Well, isn't it funny, folks, you sit down to do a bit to the camera and then all of a sudden everybody sits down behind you. Anyway, so this is the very nice Dinan. Been here loads of times before. Yeah, really nice, very pretty. Yeah, really good. And that's been lovely today, except for the bottom. But I'm sure that's just a lot of that is to do with the fact that I've got the rucksack on. Anyway, let's get out of here. Very nice. Very nice. Very pretty. So we're just making our way back to the ferry port now, just going along the coastline, and the fuel warning lights come on at 94 miles, so we've got another 33 to run, so once at 126 miles, but yeah, it should be about 150 miles to the tank. So yeah, you may possibly get a little bit of fuel anxiety, as I'm getting right now. So there's a fuel station, hopefully about 5 miles, 10 miles down the road, so we should be able to make that, if indeed it's open. If not, I may have to push it. So as we go back to the ferry port, so I'm just going to pretty much sum up the Speed Twin 1200 if you're looking at getting one of these. A new one, I can't really comment on the 2023 one with the different shocks, but the 1920 model, etc., before it changed with the suspension on the front there. I just think it's a great bike. Yeah, the engine does bang out an awful lot of heat, but it's such fun. It's I'm going to use the word cool. It's a cool looking machine. I absolutely love it. With the new tyres and those EBC HH Sintered pads on, yeah, really, really good. Yeah, I'm not going to say any more than that. Really like it. I love the character of the engine, the character of the bike itself. It just looks so damn cool, and it steers really well. I mean, it's got a few electronic stuff on it, but essentially it's a cable clutch. Okay, it's electronic throttle with no cruise control, but yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, would I want to go touring on it? I don't know. I think I'd rather take my GS, but just for like a little day trip somewhere, yeah, really good. But folks, if you've got one of these and you go touring on it, yeah, just bang some comments in the comment section down below. But yeah, a little bit of fuel anxiety potentially from the 3-gallon tank, 14.5 litres or thereabouts. But yeah, it's really nice. It's just got lovely character, pops and burbles and all that kind of stuff. Suspension, yeah, I think you get away with it unless you want to chuck £1,000 at it. Maybe I won't bother in the end, actually. The bike is what it is, you know. It's a bike that makes you smile a lot, gives you a bit of a warm inside thigh down here. But yeah, it's such good fun. I can't really think of anything else to add, folks. No, I can't. It's just a great day. I've really enjoyed the time out on the bike. So pleased to actually be able to take it out at last. So that's it. I'm actually going to sign off now. Next thing is going to be on the ferry and then back home. So we'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio for now. Bye. Got to go and find some fuel. So some people have just got far too much money, but hey, jealousy is a terrible thing, isn't it? Right, I'm out of here. Passport control, and then it is back into the man cave. Well, that's it, folks. We have come to the end of the video. Hurrah, I hear you say. Apologies, it is a little bit of a long one, but I had such a good time today doing about 120 miles on the Speed Twin. I couldn't really shorten it anymore. But if you're in the market for one of these, whether it be a used one or a new one, get down to your local dealer and just go and take one out for a demonstration ride. If you want to look cool riding slowly, this will do it for you. And if you want to go on a B road and do a bit of B road blasting, this is the bike for you. Absolutely love it and had a great time out on the bike today. As ever, ride safe, and we'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheerio for now.